Hey, fellow travelers, Clay Coomer here, host of the Travel Insights podcast, powered by battleface. And today we have a special Travel Insights podcast, and this is from the archives, recorded late in 2024. battleface CEO Sasha Gainullin had the opportunity to give a keynote presentation at an HBX Group MarketHub event in Europe. The title of this particular keynote was "When the Trip Does Not Go as Planned." And he covers a lot of different aspects of not just battleface and the different types of value propositions we bring to the market, but also shares a couple of stories on when travel insurance comes in handy and when you think you have the right travel insurance and it turns out that you don't. Don't miss this special edition episode coming up next. This is Sasha Gainullin presenting a keynote in Turkey, and it's about 11 minutes long and very much worth your time. Thanks for tuning in.
Whether you're an American or British or German or French or Chinese traveler, frankly, any nationality, when we travel and experience the world, we're experiencing very similar circumstances, including when we are faced with challenges. And some of these challenges do have something to do with travel insurance. Let me show you a few examples. I remember working on this case. European family traveling in Orlando, Florida. They were there on their Disney vacation. They were driving a car rental and involved in an accident. The mother and the kids were fine, but the driver, who was a father of two and a husband, required multiple surgeries and long-term medical care. And the reason I received the phone call is because I was part of the team that was providing emergency medical and travel assistance services on behalf of one of the world's largest credit card companies. And the family used the exact same credit card to purchase their trip. And they were hoping maybe there would be some benefits associated with their situation. Unfortunately, there were none. And by the time they reached us, most likely they've exhausted every possible option there was, because the travel insurance that they did purchase contained only $100,000 medical expense coverage limit. Being in the US hospital, that was exhausted within 3 days. By the time they're speaking to us, their projected expenses were well over $1 million. So over the next few days, we were trying to figure out how could we actually help them. So very first thing that we did, activated a cost containment company that could lower their expenses by nearly 60%, but that wasn't enough. Our major goal was to bring them back home as soon as possible. When you transfer someone by a private plane filled with medical equipment, medical personnel, and their ambulance, all the way from East Coast United States to Western Europe, the expenses would be well over $100,000. So what we managed to do, we found a direct commercial flight where we've taken out nearly 7 economy class seats and we've placed a medical stretcher on the plane so the patient could travel safely alongside with the medical personnel looking after him. And that's how we kept the expenses absolute to the minimum. He arrived safely at a home hospital and the national healthcare system then took over his medical care and the future expenses. I've been doing this work ever since after high school. My specialty in travel insurance is emergency travel and medical assistance. I work with people who are traveling globally and involved in some type of emergency situation when they're stranded as a result of injury, illness, or even death. Having this skill certainly gives me a direct insight into the good, the bad, and the ugly of travel insurance. The Florida example that we were just discussing, it certainly is not unique. Many of us are traveling with products that have not been designed specifically for us, did not accommodate our trip details, therefore are most of the times useless. Why is it that let's say when you're traveling from Germany to Turkey to attend a conference, or from Germany to Kenya to go on a family safari vacation. Absolutely the opposite. Two trips have nothing to do with each other, not the same. The travel insurance policy that's being offered to you is exactly the same, filled with benefits that might or might not work for you. Another development that we've seen over the last couple of decades is how the travel industry has gone through a tremendous shift in development because of technology, because of global crisis, because of political changes, or simply because of what customers were truly looking for and needing from the travel industry. Again, unfortunately, the travel insurance did not keep up with these changes. We're still seeing the exact same products that I was trained on back in the 90s, late 90s, that are being sold in the marketplace today. And another phenomenon that's been extremely popular over the last several years is how fragmented the travel insurance service industry is. You as a customer, you're speaking to a multitude of different parties when you're purchasing the policy, when you're filing a claim, or when you're calling somebody for help when you're traveling. There's 3 different companies, sometimes more, and none of these companies are talking to each other. And what we're also seeing in the marketplace, when you're trying to make any type of changes to the policy that's being offered to you, outside of from the company not being able to answer any of the questions about the product and referring you to another company for questions, if you want to add a benefit or take out a benefit or make any personalization for yourself or customize your policy, it's absolutely impossible. I was flying over here from the US, and when I was booking my flight, a travel insurance that was offered to me contained baggage insurance. I wasn't planning to check my bag. So of course I said, no thanks. Incidentally enough, so do over 90% of airline passengers do the same thing. So how could we change this? The answer is pretty simple. Technology nowadays has been the basic foundation for any problem-solving solutions. The travel insurance consists of nearly 50 unique benefits that are often clumped together, packaged together. And what we really needed is software that could break apart those benefits into individual modules, standalone modules that then what we could do is let customers build their own policies based on what they need, where they're traveling to, what type of experience they're going to be having. Or even further, we can have a recommendations engine that can build a policy for them in exactly the same manner, based on what their needs are, who they are, and where they're traveling. But let's take it even further. We can have travel distribution partners build their own products that are unique to their marketplaces, unique to their customers, and use the exact same recommendations engines that can build policies for your customers. That's the ecosystem that we've been developing over the last few years, delivering relevant products to today's services and backing those products by relevant services that are looking after the travelers. And what's interesting is that over the last 12 months, the conversation started to shift. Within the travel industry, world's largest brands are now asking the exact same question. Why is it that my marketplace and my customers are unique to us? We've been working so hard on developing a unique offering, but the ancillary revenue products like travel insurance is exactly the same like everybody else's. So instead of asking a question, how high my commission could be from selling the product and how much money I can earn, the question now, how can we deliver the products that can convert better, with increasing attachment rates, as well as delivering the most optimal experience. A few months ago, we were working with an online travel agency that specializes on booking trips for customers traveling with pets, dogs, cats, others. And for the longest time, they couldn't find a product that could resonate with their customers. Most of the policies take care of humans, but not humans traveling with pets, and not pets traveling with them. So what they ended up doing is building their own product. They built different variations of products, embedded the product into their purchase path, used technology to A/B test what's resonating with their customers better, one benefit versus the other, one product variation versus the other, and improve their conversion rates from 20% from day one to now reaching 32%. But still, that's not the optimal experience. The optimal experience to us is the post-purchase experience. What are the customers, how are the customers using the product, and is it actually relevant to them? A few days ago, we were working with a young couple who were traveling in Peru. They were hiking in Cusco. When we received a phone call from Ryan, the husband, he was scared, he was frightened, he didn't know what to do. Stephanie, his wife, had to be airlifted as soon as possible because of an altitude and required surgery. Combined with medical evacuation, medical expenses, hotel expenses for Ryan, because rightfully so, he was there on site with Stephanie, and other expenses as well as what was prepaid, non-refundable because of the incident, and then eventual transportation back to London. Their policy paid nearly 80,000 pounds in the combined expenses. But more importantly, they had a policy that was specifically designed for their circumstance, for their trip, for their needs, and it was no longer an afterthought product or just an added expense. We're on a mission to continue to build products for today's travelers. Thank you for letting me tell our stories. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your time in this beautiful city, and definitely do purchase the right travel insurance policy next time you travel. Thank you again.
Thanks so much for tuning into this special edition of the Travel Insights podcast powered by battleface. And a special thank you to the team at HBX Group for allowing us to use this recorded video from their MarketHub event in Europe in 2024. With a special thank you to Chris Jones and Leo Molina, the two main people we've been working with on this project. And just a quick takeaway from my point of view, I think the most impactful thing that Sasha said during his keynote was actually towards the end, when it came to why product relevancy backed by unified services is so important. And it came down to travel diversity with products tailored to needs for a better holistic experience to optimize for the lifetime value of your customer relationships. And to me, I think that is so impactful. And I really appreciate that Sasha covered that during his keynote. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a keynote from Sasha Gainullin, When the Trip Doesn't Go as Planned, presented at the HBX Group MarketHub in Europe in 2024. We'll see you again next time on the Travel Insights podcast, powered by battleface.